So, welcome to this episode of Insta Stories. It's going to be called Making... Good job, Daddy. It's going to be called Making Sourdough with $30 Flour. So, I decided to up and get King Arthur flour because that's very good. A lot of sourdough makers talk about it. And I'm relatively new to doing this. And I'm inspired by Miss Jenna Fisher, by the way, because she makes a lot of sourdough and does Insta Stories. And I thought, why not do Insta Stories, help out people who think they can't make bread, because if I can make bread, so can you. So this is my starter, which I'm quite proud of, and it's rising quite nicely. Look, it's the starter. And it's got a lot of big bubbles, but unfortunately I had to make the leaven before the big bubbles started developing, because we have to go to church today. So, and the leaven has to cook for 8 hours. So if I started it at 9 o'clock, then that means I would have to start making, I would have to start the autolyse, which is when you combine the flour and the leaven. At what time will I start? At 5 o'clock, which is when we get back from church. So, unfortunately, I would have liked to start the leaven while the starter is like this, but I didn't. So that's that. And the flour for the King Arthur flour is really nice and fine. So that's one big difference that I found here. And the leaven looks very different. And it's already getting like little bubbles in it. So let me know if you're one of those people who kind of obsessively check on your starter and leaven to see if the bubbles are forming. That means CO2 is being developed, the bacteria is eating. I'm not really too scientific about it. I just try to go by look. So, and if you have any tips, let me know, because I would love to know how you make your sourdough. I realize probably different people do different things, but that's the beauty of it. So, right now I'm using filtered water. The leaven is cooking. I'm using Robin Hood flour. I'm kind of looking to, and this is a scale that we bought. It's super helpful. If you're making sourdough, get a scale. It's only $20. So I'm looking at getting kind of a better flour at Costco. I know Robin Hood's not the best, but I'm really excited for this flour. So that's it. I will see you in a few hours for the mixing part and the autolyse. And have a wonderful day. Welcome back, folks. This is the sourdough saga as it continues. So this is 7 a.m. and the morning after our leaven failed. So as you can see, we have 3 wonderfully risen leaven. And the one in the green bowl was the one that failed yesterday, and it's risen to double its size. So that tells me it was just the heat. So what I'm doing now, this is a new whole wheat leaven. I'm putting it into this blue bowl because we're going to start the autolyse. And autolyse is when you mix all the components of the bread together, and you leave it. And I'm not quite clear on what happens during the autolyse. So if you're, an expert sourdough and you want to pipe in, learn me on some sourdough making, that would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, I'll try to follow. Sourdough is so complicated for me sometimes. I'm mostly, by sight and what it looks like, mostly what it looks like. That's what I go by. So no expert here, but I love doing it. It's a little bit of a science and an art. So here is, I think, 200 milliliters of water going in with 100 grams of the new whole wheat King Arthur flour leaven that was made the afternoon the green bowl leaven failed. I'm mixing them all in together before I add the flour. David's trying to come into the room. He's not allowed into his daddy's office. It's really sad because there's all sorts of cool toys. But by toys I mean camera equipment and gear and all that.
So I'm mixing it all in. The strings really don't dissolve. It doesn't all dissolve in the water. I'm not sure if that's right. I haven't really researched that. I'm adding now my flour. What happened here is I ran out of flour today. I thought I was going to run out yesterday, but I ran out of white flour today. I was at the store. I was going to get some white flour, and I should have gotten white flour because it was this interesting new brand. But I was like, no, I'll wait until I can get it in bulk. I think Costco has a really good brand. What flour do you use? I'm curious. So this is 154 grams of white flour, and I'm about to add 250 grams to top it off. 250 grams of whole wheat flour to top it off at 400. The recipe calls for the inverse: 100 grams of whole wheat flour and 300 grams of white flour. And it's like this just because I ran out. So this is going to be my first whole wheat sourdough, and I hope it turns out well. I didn't add as much flour as is required in the recipe. I added 100 grams less, and here I am mixing it. Mix. Because whole wheat flour is a drier flour, so I just wanted to see if, you can always add, but you can't subtract. And, well, I guess I could have added more water as well, but I wanted to be a little bit more careful, I guess. So I want the dough to be a little wet and stretchy, not kind of like dense and hard, like a hard ball. And that's why I'm adding in an extra 50 grams of flour, whole wheat flour right now. King Arthur, holla, her flour is pretty awesome. Like, it's very fine, and I don't know, it's just a different quality than the whole wheat flour I'm used to working with. So here's hoping that this whole wheat sourdough, which I've never made before, crossing fingers, actually works out. So I'm covering it with a damp cloth. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the baking end of things. Have a good night.